Kirk.
I want to ask Story a question. As a stroke survivor, we have two members, senators on this committee who are stroke survivors. I would like to take you into the world of rehab standards, which Senator Johnson and I have both introduced legislation S 1027 to speak on behalf of the 900,000 Americans who will survive stroke we expect this year. We know that roughly 1/3 of them will never return to work. And Tim Johnson and I have a belief that we could set a national standard of returning those stroke survivors to work. That would unlock a hell of a lot of Americans to pay taxes and be productive. Let me just burrow in for rehabilitation standards. My understanding, out of the $3 billion in NIH, about $66 million is spent. I think the country would do well to have an NIH established rehabilitation standard.
So NINDS recently established a stroke network of clinical centers that will undertake stroke trials. And one of the major reasons we did this was to have a balance in our investment in prevention, acute treatment, and stroke rehabilitation. We have recently finished one trial which has shown that it's never too late to start rehabilitation for stroke, that significant gains can be made even after 6 months.
Right.
We have another trial underway, but this has clearly been an area where there's not been sufficient investment, and this clinical trials network will enable us to do more trials better and faster, which will create the kinds of standards that you're asking for.
Could I add one thing, that the number you mentioned is the funding for the National Center for Medical Rehabilitation Research, NCMMR, which is actually located within the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development. But that is not the sum total of all that we spend on rehabilitation research. Much of what Dr. Landis is just talking about is in a different part of the budget. So the total expenditures on rehabilitation research are several times that number, just to clarify.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to, could I follow up and thank you for honoring my political mentor, Congressman John Porter, the other day, the man who, on a bipartisan level, led to the doubling of the funding for this institution. You guys honored a great man who really put together an awesome team with Speaker Gingrich on that.
And Senator, let me thank you for sending a wonderful video that the 400-some people who were there for that dedication watched and were touched by. I appreciate very much your contributing to our event. This was a grand moment for NIH. Let me say one other thing about rehabilitation research. We are very much in the process now of seeking a new director for this National Center for Medical Rehabilitation Research, someone who will be particularly forward-looking and identifying opportunities, how to work with the institutes, how to build the case here for rehabilitation research to be even more vigorous than it has been, and we are looking for the very best person on the planet to do that.
Thank you very much. We'll start another round. Dr. Collins, do you still